Hello once again YouTube, and welcome to another video. And it's almost the end of the year. Maybe even by the time that I upload this, it is the end of the year. But since my video did so well, I'm going to grace you with my top 10 greatest songs of the year of our Lord 2025. So we might as well get straight in, Like and subscribe, by the way. That really helps me out a lot. And let's get cracking, shall we? Okay, at number 10, we have Asking for a Friend by the Foo Fighters. Now, of course, there's been some controversy recently with Dave Grohl and him doing the classic rock and roll cheating on your wife, but I don't really consider that sort of shit. But the reason why this is on my list is because it might be one of the heaviest songs they've ever done, right up there with White Limo and Run. I love the crunchy, distorted guitar riff. It is so cool. And the funny thing is, it's in, I believe, 6/8 time. So, waltz time. So it has a sort of sound to it. But I'm quite impressed by the drummer. I don't know if it was Grohl or if it was the new drummer they have in the band, which I can't remember his name, but he did a very good tight and nice, dynamic drumming, really elevates the song to another level, in my opinion. So I think he's a pretty good fit for the Foos, personally. But I'm also quite impressed by the lyrics, which I also consider pretty good. Almost as good as, stuff off the last album, which was, I believe, it was the one they did after Taylor Hawkins died with the song Rescued. That was a decent song, but I think this one has better lyrics, because lay your worries down, save your promises until we meet again. Yeah, love that, And then I think it's a nice ditty. To be honest, I haven't listened to much in the way of a lot of new music this year. I've tried my best to listen to a lot of new music, but I'm always discovering classic bands from the 1980s, 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, and even further back to the classical periods, So, it's kind of hard to keep up with that with so much great music in the past. Anyway, number nine is Unraveling by Muse, another heavy riff-based one, but it's also a bit electronic. It's infusing the modern Muse sound, the over dramatic synths and the digital electric drums with that rock more metal, really. Some really heavy down-tuned guitar riffs in there, especially the pre-chorus guitar riff. I love that. And even a guitar solo, which I don't know if we've had a guitar solo in a Muse song in ages. So that's really nice. And I think Matt Bellamy's voice is almost as it hasn't aged a day. It's his best vocal performance since Absolution in 2008, and it's the first good song by them since Absolution anyway, that album. And then let's go on to number 8, Cobra by Geese. Now, this is a new band. I don't know if you guys heard of these guys, but they're sort of indie rock. I think they're lo-fi. Their aesthetic can vary from song to song, but this song in particular is a very chilled out, very lo-fi song, very relaxing, calming, and such an hypnotic riff that keeps your interests in constantly. I think it goes through all the song as well, with some interesting like synth textures in there, and some really in like sound effects added to the backing vocals, stuff you wouldn't hear usually. And the voices are very, very, the singer has a very odd sound to his voice, but it works. It really does work to make this song stand out. And I love the space between each instrument and how clear everything is in this song. And moving swiftly on, we're going to talk about 21 Pilots' City Walls. Now, people were disappointed with their last album, their first album to incorporate electric guitars into their sound, but I think this album really does meld their. It sounds almost like something like Trench, with the sort of crunchy and nasty bass tone, doubled with an electric guitar. You can kind of tell because it's doubled in a higher register, but it goes through all the same sort of I think it's about Tyler Joseph breaking through the barriers and finding a way beyond the city walls, and it's all a metaphor for, I think, depression. That's what it was in Trench. That's what it was in Blurry Face. But yeah, it really does intrigue you, and it blends the rock instrumentation of the guitar melodies, and layers up the guitars. Very nice use of dynamics as well, bringing it down for, I think, the bridge. You meld in the more pop and electronic components. It's kind of like the Muse thing, because you gotta meld pop and rock elements together these days, because people don't really listen to rock as much as they used to. So you gotta add in those synth textures, because the pop crowd love those synths, and blend them with the guitars so they don't get scared away. But anyway, I do believe that it's got a good message, if I'm correct about the message. And it's, it's a nice return to form for 21 Pilots. Though I haven't actually listened to their last album, but I've listened to this one, and I can safely say the rest of the album, it's quite good. I like the more rocky instrumentation. It personally appeals to me. The guitar tones are on point, the production is on point, everything is crystal clear, and just like the last one as well. See, there's a pattern. I like good production in a song. I like to hear every single element, and everything has time to shine and space to breathe. That is what I look for in a good song, and I think most, if not all, of these songs fit those parameters. So, laying that out there for you, let's move on to the next song. This might be a bit lengthy, but who cares? Carry That Name by Dijo. I believe that's how you pronounce their names. Let's get this out of the bat. This sounds like a Beatles song, especially in the chorus. The chorus is so Beatley that I think I was growing a George Harrison moustache. That is the shortened end of it. And yeah, in the chorus, there are some interesting backing vocal effects, I think it's brick wall, compression, maybe. I don't know. It could be a chorus effect or something. It sounds absolutely bizarre and watery, that muffled and watery sound, you get from that. And some interesting chords used in there as well, I feel, that really make it stand out from many, many other pop songs. And this song was pretty popular. I believe the album is really popular. It's not the most popular song for the album, but it definitely did well, and I think it's an indie darling. And the guitar solo was very reminiscent of, you guessed it, George Harrison. Yeah, this song is lovely, and it's only 2 minutes long, so it's very concise and straight to the point. So it doesn't waste any time. There's no excess fact. It's not too short and it's not too long. It's just the length it needed to be. Okay, we're on to number 5. Spinal Tap. They came back this year, and unfortunately, as of this recording, we're only a few weeks out from Rob Reiner's unfortunate passing. Yeah, it was even well, actually, let's just say it's a murder. It was a murder, and it's a very tragic. And yeah, my condolences to his family. His wife died with him as well, so that's sad. It's going to put a damper on the things, but this is more to do with the film, because I didn't get a chance to talk about it, because look at my last video for more context. But the film was hilarious. I don't know about you, but I thought that they were on top form. Even, Rob Reiner, absolutely fantastic, playing the straight man to the more, weird and zany, Nigel and David and Derek. And speaking of Derek takes center stage, who's played by the same guy who voices Principal Skinner in The Simpsons, and I never realised that until seeing them perform as, out of character. Yeah, I actually realised, oh yeah, that's Principal Skinner, isn't it? Anyway, I'm a fan of Derek's new voice. The new voice is developed for Derek because it's very reminiscent of Christopher Lee, and it's very, very gravelly, and the lyrics are very, very funny, as they are relatable to aging, even at the ripe old age of 22. I do also feel like I'm gonna eat more ground. I'm gonna eat more beef, I'm not gonna eat less beef, And I'm quite fond of the fact that the drummer didn't die at the end of a recording. Of course, she died at the end of the film, but we won't hold that against her. Of course, Magnificent Guitarist by Nigel Tufnell. And nice cool and response backing vocals, the typical no sort of backing vocals, always hilarious, and it's fantastic, and the title's fantastic even. The Devil's Just Not Getting Old. Yeah, isn't that lovely? Okay, number 4, Pulp, Spike Island. I admit this is also something to do with tragedy, because their bass player died recently. I think he's Steve Mackey or something. Let's just say I loved the bass line. I loved the bass line. The bass line really held the groove together, And it was also interesting to hear the synth bass on top doubling the same line as well. Giving it sort of an artificial feeling, and some nice slide licks in there as well. I think the slide guitar goes through the entire tune, so that's something that you don't often hear in a Pulp song. But what you do often hear in a Pulp song is the absolute melodic, with the melodic, rhyming and lyrical genius, which is Jarvis Cocker. Let's be honest, and I can't describe it. It's a feeling, as he says in the song. It is just an earworm of a song. It latches into your brain and doesn't let go in all the right ways, and that is the best compliment I can give to a song. Okay, number 3. We get into the final 3 of the list. Rock and Roll Party Cat Cowboy by The Darkness. Justin and Dan Hawkins have done it again. They've released a new album. I was gonna get it signed, but Justin was sick, so that was a shame. But I listened to the album, and the album is fantastic, and this song's also fantastic. And it's also an interesting song because Justin isn't singing in his usual high falsetto register or slightly high, sort of like Christy McVie high. I think he compared his voice to Christy McVie in one of his YouTube videos. That's why I'm saying Christy McVie. But yeah, he's singing more low, I think maybe even a little bit baritone. It's kind of interesting. It's a very low register, very evocative of, say, Lemmy, very, very ZZ Top, Billy Gibbons, yeah, that low growl, but he also, in the bridge, he goes more into the typical Darkness falsetto, and that's lovely. And, I think the bass really complements the guitar riffs. The guitar riffs are heavy as fuck, and it's just about partying, and it's just kick-ass, and what more can I say? It's the fucking Darkness. They've already proven how good of a band they are with their many studio albums. I don't know if I have a song off them that I don't like. I think I like most of their songs, and this is no exception. It's like trying to describe why bread is good. You can't. So, yeah, they've already proven their worth. So, I don't know what else to say, and I might as well move on to my top 2. Here we go. Now, coming in at number 2, that might have given it away if you paused there. Midnight Messiah by Dream Theater. Now, these two are probably the ones with the most notes that I've taken. If you know, that's better writing there. If you know, Mike Portnoy was the drummer for Dream Theater, but he left in 2005, I believe, or maybe even earlier. So, he's back in the band. It's kind of like Oasis coming back. It's a thing that everybody wanted to happen, and it's happened, and it's as good as you would think, I do think that I've been listening closer to his drumming, and I do think that his drumming adds a lot of dynamic tension to the song. It really, he knows when to cut it back, especially at the beginning. It's a lot more, it's like the beginning guitar riff is hypnotizing, and I do think the drums really add to that, and then the times in the signature as well, I think is also maybe in 6/8. I don't know. I need to look that up. But at the moment, we can clarify it's not in 4/4 because this is Dream Theater. They like to play with their weird time signatures, so you can bet that some of this song, maybe even all of it, isn't going to be all in 4/4. So yeah, the beginning is just it lulls you. It lulls you into a weird sense of something's off. Everything is lopsided, It's just a bit disconcerting, It feels like unreality, which it is. It's trying to create this dream-like feeling, and it's trying to take you into the mind of somebody with, I think, either insomnia or they're stuck in their dreams forever. From the lyrics, we can tell that, help me to find my destiny, take me back into the dream for all eternity. Now that could be insomnia, because of course you can't sleep That's an indicator of you can't sleep. So maybe he wants to go into the dreamlike state, and or his life is so terrible that he wants some sort of destiny in his life. And also, that for a Dream Theater song, I usually don't pay much attention to the vocals, but this, I couldn't help but sing along with the chorus. The chorus is weirdly enough a catchy one, like a pop chorus, and in a good way, not in a bad way. But I really thought it was really memorable. Like I could sing along with it. It just like the previous one. Just like it was an earworm. In the best possible sense, like I said before. But yeah, this is all, and yet again, great production and great guitar work. His best in 20 years, in my opinion, by John Petrucci. And I think I've said everything I needed to have said, and we're on to the final song. But before then, I got some honourable mentions. The Black Sabbath Back to the Beginning farewell concert. The final concert that Ozzy Osbourne did. I can't say how much that performance moved the ever-loving shit out of me. Seeing him wanting to jump up and please the audience can make even the most toughest grown men cry, and I'm not fucking kidding. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, I think they deserve a mention here because, Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne ruled this year, and, I think that performance was just lovely. I love the fact that they did NIB. I love the fact that they did Iron Man, Paranoid, and War Pigs. War Pigs being a really long song, so I wasn't expecting them to do that. But then his solo stuff as well. I think they did Mr. Crowley, and I think they did Mama Coming Home and Crazy Train. So that's wonderful, and frankly enough, it's nice to hear Bill Ward playing with them again. We haven't had Bill Ward in Black Sabbath since the 2000s, so that's good to hear again. So yeah, that needs an honourable mention. Another honourable mention goes to some of the Oasis concerts, in particular Little by Little and also Cigarettes and Alcohol. Cigarettes and Alcohol is a fucking classic tune, and it was nice hearing it again, and it's nice hearing Gallagher's again together, and also the merger of the classic lineup from the 90s, but also the 2000s lineup with Graham Bell and Paul Arthurs, aka Bonehead, together, and of course they managed to make the free guitar lineup work. It's like the fucking Eagles. With Oasis, there's several guitar overdubs that you can find, like that Bonehead could find a way to like blend in, thicken up the sound a little bit. Okay, and then other honourable mention goes to I think Wet Leg CPR, that fucking bit where just for that bit where they say, hey, 911, what's your emergency? I think I'm in love. Yeah, that bit's the best bit of the song. Can't lie. Hands down, that's the best bit of the song. And I think I've gone through all the honourable mentions that I wanted to mention. Now, number 1. Drum roll, please. Zealot by Brass Camel. Now, you might be wondering, who the fuck are they? And let me tell you, they are probably one of my favourite bands, up and coming bands at the moment. I'm not even fucking kidding. Their recent album, which I think is called Camel, is a fantastic album, okay? And it's a real throwback to that classic prog rock sound, you know. This is the first song that I heard by them, and I was absolutely floored by it. It was so refreshing to hear weird time signatures, virtuosic playing from all parties involved, and it's so tight and immaculate that it just feels like every single thing was crafted specifically for the song to make it feel as dread-inducing and as unsettling as possible, because this song is not a happy song. This song sounds like somebody is being accused of something and is being put on trial for some sort of crime, and they use the time signatures just like the Midnight Messiah song in a very creative way, tying it back in with the lyrical themes that it's been discussed. It's a zealot question. It's a zealot questioning somebody's loyalty, possibly. That's what I got from the lyrics. It's like witch trials, you know, and you know it works. It works for the song, you know. And it's so nice to hear the mellotron in popular music finally. It's like me and an old friend again, you know? Most popular songs don't have mellotrons, and I want this song to get, really popular. What I'm impressed by is the lead singer has his own unique way of phrasing words in ways similar to Peter Gabriel, or even the lead singer to Van de Graaff Generator, but he's still distinctively himself, you know. And it's got so many guitar parts that are absolutely killer going on that sometimes they overlap onto each other, especially in the beginning. You hear this really complex arpeggiated guitar riff, and then you hear some really gnarly guitar chords, sort of not just chords but as a riff, you know. And it's just, you know, and the main riff, oh, it's so good, man. It's really good, and I recommend it to everybody. I don't care if you don't like prog. Listen to more prog. It's healthy for you. It's healthy for your ears. Well, I wouldn't say it's healthy for your ears, but it's healthy for your mind. It's good for the soul, prog. Yeah, and I can't help but just sing the praises of this song, and we're already nearly at the 30-minute mark. That's how good this fucking song is. I got so many notes about it. I am literally dying to talk about this song. I've been dying for so long, and I'm so happy to have it at number 1 on my list. And that's the thing. I love this song. And I think I've gushed on about it way too long, and I think we should call it there and say a happy new year. Hopefully 2026 you will get everything you want. You will get all the good. I wish you all the best in the next year. I will try to be a little bit more consistent with my upload schedule. No promises, but I'm definitely going to make some few New Year's resolutions of my own. I hope you achieve yours, and I hope you find happiness in your life, and I hope you all have a great new year. I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you in the next year. I guess this will be the final video of this year. Goodbye.